strong with 11 Ks and a San Diego win that crept them a game out of first in the NL West. Winner take all game 3 starts in just over an hour. NBA Finals game 3 is tonight at 5:30. OKC looks to take a 2-1 lead in Indiana, and the U.S. men's national team had a Gold Cup tune-up last night. They played a friendly against Switzerland and got absolutely smoked 4-0. Questions are now surrounding if the makeup of the team and the style of the play can actually work well together. San Diego G&E is not loading right now, but make sure you check out sdgne.com for all of your SDG&E needs.
Yeah, it's San Diego Sports 760. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome in. That voice you heard was not Sammy Long. No. It was Jonathan Rifkin, who, if he knows how to do one thing and one thing only, it's mess up update reads. What up, J Riff?
You know what, man? The more that things change, the more that they stay the same. And I'm happy to continue on with my motif here at San Diego Sports 760. You know, I felt like I nailed the read. I didn't really time the laptop reload right, and by the time it came back around to do the read, I'm out of practice, Fletch, but I'm happy to be here.
I'm happy to have you. So Sammy texts me this morning and says, hey, you're not going to believe this, but I might have broken my ankle playing basketball last night in his men's league game. That's what I'm saying. That's like anyone who sits in this chair, because right now I'm sitting in the Sammy chair, which used to be the me chair, which used to be the J-Riff chair. Anyone who sits here ends up with a broken ankle at some point or another. So I
have yet to suffer that fate.
Well, we hope Sammy's okay. He has a big Vegas trip planned this weekend for his birthday, and I don't know if that's going to even happen anymore. Vegas requires a lot of walking. But
hold on, you could plop yourself in a blackjack chair for a couple of days.
I mean, yeah, I've done it, but I'm not 23 like Sammy is. He wants to go out clubbing. He spent like $500 on club shirts, as he calls them. J-Riff, how's life, man? It's good to hear from you.
Yeah, it's good to see you, man. It's good to hear you. It's good to see you. It's good to be back on the San Diego airwaves, where I've only been a part of in a play-by-play capacity recently. So nice to get back on the talk show side of things. I'm good, man. Things are good. Been having a lot of free time lately, so I'm just soaking in the sun, trying to get that summer glow going.
I promise you I'm not making this up, but we did get a text maybe a week and a half ago, and then I forgot to text you and ask the question. Have you proposed to Jerna yet?
We have not, no.
Oh. All right, is this a touchy subject?
It is not a touchy subject. It just has not come. Look, you know, we all have our stipulations for when we feel like we're ready. They're all arbitrary and somewhat of a construct. And, you know, like we're on our journey. So everything's going to happen in due time.
Well, J-Riff's going to be hanging out till 2 o'clock today. That is when John and Jim will take over. We got a busy show. Derek Togerson's going to be jumping on around 12:30. Rich Ohrnberger at 1:30. We'll talk Padres pretty heavy for this first hour of the show with last night's total domination from San Diego to LA, even though that comes with a pretty big asterisk. We will get it all over the next 2 hours. But right now, like we do every single day at the very top of the show, it is time for the Big Three, where usually Sammy Long takes us through the top stories in the world of sports. Today, you're just left with me. So good luck, everybody. But here we go. Big Three
dang
time.
It.
Hour number 1. If the computer actually works.
Oh, look, I'm not the only one.
Oh, there's
bugs I
in the
feel
machine.
Vindicated.
All right, we're just going to talk over the Big Three. That's what.
Well, yeah. What's going on? Tell me what the Big Three is today.
Kevin Durant, his agents, and the Suns have been discussing trade partners. It looks like the list is down to just the Spurs, the Rockets, the Heat, the Timberwolves, and the Knicks. And the question is going to be, where would we like to see him? Now, Bill Simmons from the Ringer Network, he came out 2-3 days ago now and said he thinks that Kevin Durant to the Spurs is already a done deal. Like they're just waiting to publicize it. But I don't know that that's true, because you're getting conflicting reports from Windhorse. But Kevin Durant, J-Riff, let's start with you. Of those teams, the Rockets, the Spurs, the Heat, the Timberwolves, and the Knicks, where do you want to see him go?
Where do I want to see him go?
Yeah.
I mean, look, I want Kevin Durant to be relevant. I think, and look, he's in his back nine. I think that, I don't know if you've been paying attention much to X. I really have been trying to dial back my X use, but I still find Kevin Durant beefing with fans and with aggregators on X about where he's going to go. And now there's this whole narrative about how he fell off when he left Golden State, and that if he had stayed at Golden State, he would have won more championships. That honestly might be true. I actually think he would work well with the Timberwolves. I don't know how he would have to take a step back, because it is Ant's team. I think they could have complementing playing styles of Kevin Durant. doesn't take 25 shots a game. So I think that would be a good fit. Houston, I think they have a good thing going with the young core. You cannot disrupt what they have going in New York. I know they fired Tibbs. I think that he was probably the piece that had to go with all of that, but I don't think you can mess up what the Jalen Brunson and family have going on. So I don't know if he goes to New York. So I'm going Minnesota if he's willing to take a step back offensively.
He would have to, you would think. It would have to be Ant's team with KD as the 2, which who knows if he can do that. Now, the Spurs, I find the most interesting. I think they automatically become a power in the West with De'Aaron Fox, who's an excellent passer and scorer, with Wemby, who is basically Kevin Durant but taller and a little worse shooting. I think that would be fun as hell, man. With that as a big 3, I think they automatically become, if not favorites, second favorites out in the West. All right, story number 2, Aaron Rodgers joining the Steelers. First of all, looks weird as hell in a Steelers uniform. But second of all, his quote today at the press conference, it was what was best for his soul. Now, Devontae Adams, his running mate for basically his whole career, is on the Los Angeles Rams this year. And when he was asked about the move to the Rams, he said, quote, exactly what I needed. Which player has the better season this year? Which team has the better season this year? And who makes it further along in the postseason? J-Riff, your thoughts on Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams?
Yeah, I'm not feeling this whole Pittsburgh situation very much. And by the way, Aaron Rodgers, I think Fletch had 2 choices. It was either sign with Pittsburgh for 1 year, 16 mil, right? That's what he got?
20.
Okay, 1 year, 20 mil. I don't know why 16 was in my head. 1 year, 20 mil or retire. If I had the choice to keep fulfilling my purpose in life or retire, yeah, my soul would feel much better doing the thing that brings me purpose in this world. So yeah, no S, you're going to feel better and more soul nourished if you're Aaron Rodgers playing for Pittsburgh, because you had one other option, and that was to not play football and not get paid for football this year. So I think we have to remember the circumstances of which that statement was being made. I really just don't think he had any other options. With that being said, I sincerely don't think that Pittsburgh is going to have a better season than the Rams. I'm still kind of a McVay believer, and I think that we know what he can do with wide receivers, right? Like, there is a hole that is now filled in that offense by one of the best wide receivers in the NFL. He's going to have a better season. The Rams are going to have a better season.
I think the Rams are fun heading into this year, man. You got Matthew Stafford. If you feel like this is kind of his last chance to do something with his career, which he already has done a lot, but you got Matthew Stafford and then Devontae Adams almost in the same boat. So what can those two put together in the twilight of their careers? I think the Rams are a lot of fun. I hate that they're in the 49ers division because I feel like they're going to be a serious contender this year. All right, final story for the big 3. We are 1 day away from the U.S. Open out at Oakmont. Pros are saying that even par could end up winning the tournament with how hard the course is playing right now. They just did the final mow of the rough, and I don't even think they gave it a haircut. Like, it is still so brutally thick. But since 2009, when Tiger Woods in all 4 majors was favored by plus 225 or greater, there has never been a major favorite as large as Scottie Scheffler is heading into U.S. Open this week. He is at plus 225. J-Riff, you got Scotty or you got the field?
No, I got Scotty, man.
Really?
I think he's untouchable. I mean, like when you just sort of you like the runner's high theory, right? Like when you're in this moment of self-elevation, locked into the thing that you're doing, nothing else can go wrong. And I think that he's sort of hitting that runner's high, that golfer's high, if you will. And yeah, I'm taking the plus 225. I think that those, like, I would hammer that. And that's all I have to say about it.
Scotty's amazing. He is so unbelievably good. But here's why the U.S. Open is different from all the other tournaments Scotty has been winning and dominating. Bryson DeChambeau's playing. Brooks Koepka is playing. Dustin Johnson is playing. It's not just the PGA Tour guys. It is the best players in the world will all be at Oakmont this week. Scotty has the advantage. Scotty is so good off the tee. You have to be good off the tee at Oakmont because you got to put it in the fairway. Because if you're in the rough, that's what's leading to bogeys, double bogeys, triple bogeys. Will not be uncommon on the course this week. But Scotty is so damn controlled. I'd have a hard time taking the field. Like, I know John Rahm's going to be there. Rory McIlroy is going to be there. The best players in the world will all be there to try to take Scotty down. But the way he's playing right now, the way he's putting right now, especially later on in the tournament, it does feel like this is Scotty's thing to lose. And plus 225 might be getting a discount out in Las Vegas. All right, Jared, that was the big 3.
Nice.
You like it?
Love it.
It's better when there's imaging. It's better when there's the big voice guy saying, "Hey, it's your lunch break."
I love big voice guy. I felt like I could have vibed to to a little background music.
There's usually background music too.
Oh, there is.
Yeah.
Why'd you break the computer just for the show that you decided to have me on for?
Sammy's not here and things fall apart. I think that's what's happening.
Oh, so he's the glue guy.
I'm just saying this is his fault for breaking his ankle last night. If you missed the top of the show, Sammy Long not here today. He was playing in some basketball game and snapped his ankle in half, something like that. And I was like, "You can't drive?" He said, "No."
You know, Fletch. They say that you absorb the energy of the people that you spend, the 6 people that you spend the most of your time with, and he clearly absorbed your ankle breaking tendencies.
He was literally yesterday making fun of me for snapping my ankle.
Believe in karma.
This is karmic retribution. If you'd like to watch the show, you can do so in 2 different places: on X at Fletch and Sammy, on YouTube at San Diego Sports 760. That one stays live from 12 all the way to 6. John and Jim take it over right after we get off the air. Take our first break of the day. When we come back, Padres, Dodgers yesterday. Did the Dodgers turn into an NBA team? I think they did. I'll tell you why. Coming up next, it's San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. Tonight at 6 o'clock at San Diego Sports 760, it is SDFC Midweek Live. Hear from the head coach, Mikey Varis, as well as interviews with players and coaches. Find out the latest club and MLS information, SDFC Midweek Live, every Wednesday night, 6 o'clock, right here on your home for SDFC, San Diego Sports 760. Ben Fletcher, Jonathan Rifkin today with you until 2 o'clock. John and Jim will take over then. Sammy Long is out injured today. He is the Michael King of San Diego Sports 760. Missing some time here with a hurt ankle, believe it or not. All the smack talk Sammy has given over the last 2 years about me rolling my ankle and breaking it in half on an acorn. Sammy hurt his ankle last night, not at work today.
Isn't that amazing that he can't do radio after hurting his ankle?
I do think it was his right ankle, so I think it would have been pretty impossible to drive. If anyone can sympathize with this problem, it is me.
You made it to work.
Not the same day. I broke mine on a Sunday. I didn't get back to work until Wednesday.
Oh, you guys are so soft.
What are you doing tomorrow, J-Riff? Might need you again.
I'm out. I'm sorry.
All right, sounds good.
I'm stepping on acorns.
I believe it. All right, it is San Diego Sports 760. Thank you for being here. Let's get into some Padres talk. They play today at 1:10. So hour number 2 is going to be dedicated to some other stuff. Might even let J-Riff talk about soccer for a little bit. But Padres-Dodgers last night. Yes, it was nice for the Padres to notch one in the win column. It was an offensive explosion for the Padres, and that's all great and dandy until you realize who was pitching for the Dodgers. They left some poor dude who I can't even remember his name out there for 111 pitches to get destroyed by the Padres. And then in the 6th inning, instead of, going to your bullpen, you throw Kike Hernandez out there on the mound to get absolutely destroyed by the Padres. It was a weird night of baseball. I couldn't even call it baseball, if you really ask me. I think Dave Roberts and the Dodgers went full load management on the Padres last night, and I really do hate to see it because this is a situation where Padres fans and Dodgers fans spent a lot of money to get to this game. One of the more expensive games of the regular season, and not to mention people around the country watching this because of this rivalry, because this is what happened in the postseason a year ago. And for the Dodgers to come out there and just lay an egg and give up, why this series? Can you focus on a different series? You'll take the 11-1 win. I'll take the 11-1 win. That's great. But why does it have to be this series? Jared, did I lose you or are you still there?
No, I'm here audio-wise. If you're on the stream, my phone, I was getting a spam call from the water department, and it messed up my phone camera. So you got to add me back. Oh, it's still not working. There we go.
Does what I said make sense, though?
Everything that you said makes sense. I actually wrote down a little thing. So, I've been spending a lot of time with everybody's best friend, Adam Rank, our fantasy football expert over at the NFL Network.
How is that bald SOB doing?
He's doing great. He's been doing a lot of stuff with Jim Rome recently, actually.
Really?
Just Rank is he's sort of becoming like the McEnroe of the Rome show, and Rome normally flies solo. So this is big ups for
Believe
our guy,
it or
Adam
not,
Rank.
my first interview for a job in the world of radio was with Jim Rome. I did not get that job.
And we are all grateful for it because that led you to, I guess I came after you, but it still led us to each other. Now, listen, in the spirit of our guy, Adam Rank, I wrote down a little thing. I'm going to do my best. He has this little, persona he takes on. So I'm going to try to do a little Adam Rank right here. Ready with this take. So let me get this straight. The Dodgers, titans of payroll and preseason hype, just tapped out in the 6th inning at Petco Park by handing the ball to who? Kike Hernandez, like it was a spring training getaway day. A $300 million roster waving the white flag before the 7th inning stretch because they didn't want to waste a reliever. It's the earliest concession in Dodger history and maybe the most symbolic. The Padres didn't just win 11-1. They made the mighty Dodgers surrender to logic. And that kind of loss, that sticks to the ego.
That's not bad. I think Adam Rank would be proud. Nicely done, J-Riff.
I appreciate it.
I really think they gave up before the 1st inning, though. Like, I would love to stick with that, but they threw out their long-form bullpen guy and
yeah.
His name is escaping me, but they leave him out there for 111 pitches after the Padres are already raking him. They gave up, out 1, inning 1. This game was over, and that's fine. Like I said, the Padres will take the win. I'll take the win.
Do you think they should have let people know that this is how, like the NBA is like, oh, you have to disclose this now. Like they're trying to compensate for the fact that teams load manage so that way fans don't feel like they're getting gypped out of a high quality sporting experience. Do you feel like the Dodgers should have been like, today is a bullpen game? Maybe, think about what you expect out of this game before buying tickets.
I mean, this thing, obviously, this whole series has been sold out for weeks now because it's June 9th for the first matchup between the Padres and the Dodgers, which that's insane to begin with. The hottest series of last year's postseason, you don't run it back and their division rivals until the middle of June. Like, that's kind of insane.
But it's also so Dodgers. Only the Dodgers would make a loss feel so tasteless for the Padres.
For real.
Only the Dodgers.
It's honest. It's a little bit of a slap in the face because the Dodgers are like, oh, we don't take this seriously at all. And
they're like,
watch the way the Padres are played. They're taking it seriously. Look at the fans. They're taking it seriously. Like, that's why Dave Roberts, come on, dude, grow a pair, figure out a way to actually compete. So does today even feel like a rubber match? Well, not really to me. It feels like the Padres are still down 1-0 in the series. And this is to tie the series because I don't think yesterday actually counts. Now, what counted from yesterday was I think Dylan Cease got back on track in a good way. He had that sort of unhittable look to him, and he was fantastic. And we called for that on the air yesterday. We were like, Dylan Cease needs to help out the Padres bullpen, which has been ridiculously overtaxed, and come out there and throw a gem. And that's exactly what he did. For as much as the Dodgers punted on the pitching, their lineup was still in yesterday. And Dylan Cease made them look like fools. So that is the one huge bonus I'll take away from yesterday.
Yeah, so you do feel like the Dodger offense wasn't sort of playing down because the bullpen, it was a bullpen game, right? Like they weren't playing like it was a wash.
I think that at the beginning of the game, Dave Roberts said, all right, we're going to have to score 13 runs to win this thing. And I think Dylan Cease dominated him, which good for Dylan Cease. He needed that. He's really struggled this year.
The moments where Dylan Cease is really good, he's easily a top 5 pitcher in the league. But
when he has that slider cooking, I don't think anyone can hit him.
No, it's untouchable. Right.
All right.
But anyways.
Yesterday kind of ticked me off. We'll talk about with Derek Togerson coming up next. And J-Riff, you said you have something for Derek Togerson you want to throw out there too?
Oh, no. The thing that I told you on the phone was separate of the talk show.
That's staying on the phone.
But well, honestly, I hope that it's public at some point, but we're working on a project together.
All right. Well, Togerson's coming up next, but right now, everyone take your phones out, go to your app store or the Google Play Store and download the Prize Picks app. Use promo code Fletch when you do. That's going to get you a $50 bonus when you play your first $5 entry. We did not win last night, but damn, we got close. Brandon Pfaadt for the Arizona Diamondbacks had less than 4.5 strikeouts. We needed him to have more. He had 4 exactly. New lineup coming your way at 12:45 today. It's going to be long shots with J-Riff instead of Sammy. Sammy has been on a hot streak. J-Riff has his work cut out for him, but Prize Picks is my favorite daily fantasy sports app. Once you download it, you can start making lineups, 2 to 6 players. You pick their stat projections. You go more than or less than, and you could win up to 2,000 times your cash on Prize Picks, the best daily fantasy sports platform there is. Just ask. There are millions and millions and millions of active members, the billions of dollars that have already been awarded in winnings. Download Prize Picks today. Use promo code Fletch and run your game all season long on Prize Picks. Derek Togerson coming up next.
This update is presented by Indeed.com, and yes, there is a read this time in case you were worried. The Padres pounded the Dodgers 11-1 at Petco Park last night, but the big win was giving the bullpen a breather. The Dodger bullpen, Dylan Cease, though, he went 7 strong, struck out 11. San Diego crept within a game of first in the NL West. Winner take all game 3 of the series, getting going just over 35 or so minutes. The U.S. men's national team had a Gold Cup tune-up last night. They played a friendly against Switzerland and got smoked 4-0. Questions are now surrounding if the makeup of the team and the style of play can coexist. NBA Finals Game 3 is tonight at 5:30. OKC look to take a 2-1 lead against Indiana. You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Start at Indeed.com/credit.
All right, it's San Diego Sports 760. Ben Fletcher, Jonathan Rifkin filling in for Sammy Long today. We'll be here till 2 o'clock. And right now from NBC 7, our parking lot brother, Derek Togerson. What up, Togs? How are we?
Man, it's nice to hear you guys back together again. This is long overdue.
Isn't it adorable? J-Riff has a gross mustache. I'm staring at it on the computer screen. It's ridiculous.
Can I be clear? Hold on. My mustache is not for me. For the record.
Who's it for?
No, it's not possible for J-Riff to have a non-mustache. Let's just get that out of the way.
That's a fact. Togs, yesterday, Padres-Dodgers, what was your vibe on that game? I don't know if you heard us talking earlier, but it sure felt like the Dodgers went full NBA for a night.
Oh, they completely did. I don't know what was going on. It's like, I think once they realized that the bullpen game wasn't going to work the same way it did in the playoffs last year, it was like Doc just said, all right, you know what? We won game 1 of the series. We'll give these guys one. It doesn't feel like all night. Let's just get through here. Who knew Kike Hernandez would be their most effective pitcher on the night? They just kind of said, you know what? We're good. We're going to save all our bullets and try to win the series on Wednesday afternoon. So it was very much all right, guys, you got us early. We have 42 pitchers on the injured list. We'll give you this one. We'll try and get you tomorrow. So, yeah, they absolutely we're resting everybody. It was load management in Major League Baseball like I've never seen.
Yeah, I mean, how do we feel about this game in hindsight then, Togerson? Like, is it, do we take the pragmatic approach and say, yes, it was 11-1, but Dodgers were load managing? But to me, that feels like we're diminishing the performance of Dylan Cease, or can two things be true at once? Dodgers were load managing, but Dylan Cease still had an inspiring performance.
Oh, both things are absolutely true. And the reason that they went into load management mode is because they realized the Padres had their number. So when they saw what Dylan Cease was doing, and once he got out of that bases loaded jam, he put himself in, and the offense immediately came back with 3 runs, I think that was probably the moment where Doc said, guys, if you don't get a couple right now, then we're basically going to write this one off, because they saw what Cease had. They saw how good he was going to be. And then it was the Padres forced them into the load management thing. So yeah, don't take anything away from what San Diego did. They whooped their tails yesterday, and that's what caused Doc to go, you know what, you got us. We'll see you guys again tomorrow so you win the series.
All right, Togs, let's talk about this season as a whole. And Derek Togerson joining us today on San Diego Sports 760. When you look at this Padres team, they start 14-3, and obviously that wasn't going to hold up for the rest of the year. But since then, they've been around 500. I haven't done the stats. Whoa. Is that you, Togs? What's going on?
No, I'm at the lifeguards right here in Mission Beach right now.
Okay,
the lifeguards telling people stay out of the rip current. Yeah, we're all good.
Yeah, stay away from sharks, Derek. We need you.
Actually, believe it or not, I am working on a story on the 50th anniversary of Jaws. So we mentioned sharks.
How about it? So the Padres, much like Jaws, are scaring me because it doesn't feel like this is sustainable. Do you have a similar feeling? Like, the record's good. I'd take this record if you told it to me in March, but I don't feel like this brand that they're playing right now is sustainable by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah, I don't know. With the way that they have performed in one-run games and the way that they've played really good baseball, especially against really good teams for the last year and a half under Mike Schultz, I'm not ready to say it's not sustainable. Maybe this is just who they are. Maybe it's in their DNA. I don't know. But the thing that I don't like is the prolonged stretches of offensive frustration, I guess is the best way to put it, where they're just doing nothing well. But the pitching staff has been really good all year, the starting rotation especially, and you know that eventually Michael King's coming back. Hopefully Darvish will be around. I'm very encouraged by the fact that they're a lot closer to the 14-3 team than they are the team that they've been since that. I think they have a chance to make a run in the second half. And as we've seen with Mike Schultz's teams, literally every time he's been a manager, I mean, look at last year, 50-50, best record in baseball second half of the year. When he won the National League Manager of the Year award in 2019 with the Cardinals, in the second half of the year, they were 52-52. They win 91 games, including a 17-game winning streak, which is the longest in Cardinals franchise history, and that is a franchise with a long and storied history. So I look at it as they're ahead of schedule. Schulte's teams are always better in the second half after the All-Star break. So this is a good thing that they're this far ahead of where they should be and are probably going to be come August, September, and even into October. I like what I'm seeing right now.
You know, it's interesting you bring that up, Togerson, because I think that's such a good perspective to take, right? Like there are two ways to look. There are multiple ways to look at this, more than two if you want to really get nitty gritty. But like the two ambiguous perspectives are, like the fact that this team is hanging around playing this poorly, it's not sustainable. Or, wow, it's amazing this team is hanging around despite how they're playing. It probably can only go up from here, and we've seen it in the past. So it seems like you fall on that side of the scale. What to you is what about the makeup of the team, and what about what you've seen from this team gives you that hope? Like, where are the pieces working right now?
Well, Schulte's guy, every year he's going to skip where it's happened. So his track record is 100%. They're better off in the second half of the year. That's what he is what he makes his teams do. Also, look how many games they've lost to injury, and they're still playing this well. Look how many, both in the lineup and the starting rotation, and they're still playing as well. Gavin Sheets is a real thing. I think we can go ahead and chalk that up to one of the best off-season, low-budget signings. I'm not going to say it's this year's Jurickson Profar, but that's probably for folks who aren't real big baseball fans, we'll wait for them to understand, yeah, he signed a $1.5 million one-year contract, and he's giving them all that he's giving them right now. That's a fantastic signing for them. So I see the pieces coming together. I see the guys who are coming up from the minor leagues and in the bullpen are making spot starts, and almost to a man, they're all doing really well. So there's a lot more depth in this roster and in this organization than we even realized that there was. So we think, okay, if somebody does go down for a prolonged period, they might be okay and be able to overcome that. They've done it already with two guys in their starting rotation. So I like what I see. You're right. The close games, a little bit of frustration here and there. Remember, they're still winning more than they're losing. And that gives me a lot of hope that this team has something that they're going to be doing down the stretch. And also, Manny Machado just started becoming Manny Machado. Jackson Merrill is just starting to become Jackson Merrill. Fernando Tatis Jr.'s 2-month slump should be coming to an end fairly quickly here, and then he'll join the fray. It looks like Xander Bogart showed a pulse in last night's game. So I like what I'm seeing because they have their winning games that maybe last year or years before they wouldn't be winning at this point in the year. And I can guarantee you, without a doubt, they will be better after the All-Star break.
It was nice to see Xander Bogaerts have a pulse, like you said. However, he was doing it against absolute load management day for the Dodgers, a reliever that threw 111 pitches, and Kike Hernandez. Fernando Tatis Jr., you said it. The end of the 2-month slump should be coming soon, and he is starting to make a little bit better contact. But what have you seen from him, Derek, like with your analytical brain that you have, that's led to this slump? And it's not just body language, like everyone says. There's something different about Fernando over the last 2 months.
He's searching. And what he's searching for is perfection. I mean, he's going to have to get through his skull. That's not attainable in baseball. He had the amazing start to the season. I think when he hit that home run off of Kenley Jansen, you know the one I'm talking about, where when he got his foot down, had to basically stop his swing, started up again, and hit it 400, God knows how many feet out for the walk-off. That was vintage peak Fernando Tatis Jr. because it showed the pure physical freak that he is. He's been trying to do that every at-bat since. So it's not a body language thing. He's trying too hard. He's trying to do that every day. Instead of just what got him off to the great start, he's not striking out. He's not chasing balls outside the strike. He's barrel on the ball. When that man barrels a baseball, it comes off hot. He has this like Shohei Ohtani. Some of these guys have this innate ability to barrel balls, and it just comes off differently than most other people on the planet. If he gets back to that approach, the home runs will come. The massive moments will come. He gets high off the crowd. He gets high off the feeling of running around, and people ripping the shirt off, and all the women go crazy, and he gets the Gatorade bottle dumped on him. Like he loves those moments. He's been searching for that high. It's almost like a drug to him, right? Like you do a hit of cocaine, and you're searching for that hit every single time you take it from then on. You're hoping to get it back, hoping to get that feeling back. He wants that feeling, that adoration, that massive moment. He's hunting those moments that come with home runs. And when they're not getting there, he tries harder and harder and harder to get him. He needs to get himself into some rehab here, emotional rehab. You don't have to have that high every time, because when you try to find it, you're never going to. And if you just do what God gave you the ability to do, you're going to find those highs more often than not. It's all between his ears.
Derek, can we please not talk about banned substances with Fernando Tatis Jr.? We do not need him doing cocaine and getting another sort of suspension.
Yeah, but it's a recreational drug, so it's not a performance enhancer. It's fine.
You know, Fletch just told me, Fletch told me to hold my question so he can make that comment. Fantastic.
Worth it.
Yeah, I will say this: okay, kids don't do drugs. Okay, that was a dramatized over exaggeration of what is going on with a professional baseball player. Drugs are bad. Okay.
The only questionable part about that statement is that you think that kids are listening at 12:40 on a Tuesday. Padres, Giants. Padres, Giants, Dodgers, all sort of in that top three. You talk about how you feel like the Padres are going to go, they're going to only elevate post All-Star break. Does a part of you worry that even if they continue to play and continue to grow, the teams around them are going to do the same, and it's going to get to this point where they're going to be a couple of games behind and unable to catch up down the final stretch?
You're talking about for the division or the wild card?
For the division.
They're not going to win the division. I keep saying this. People were really excited. And the Giants aren't going to win the division either. I think the Giants have been overperforming for the last couple of months, especially after the All-Star break. I don't see them making really big moves. Buster Posey needs to be given a bunch of credit for what he's been able to do with this club this year. But look up and down that lineup, like where's the superstar? Where's the guy who's going to carry them through the dog days of summer? I don't see that guy. Now, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this is somehow they've got just this ragtag group of underdogs and they got the bad news bears on their hands. But I don't see them being able to hang with the Padres and the Dodgers, simply because they don't have the horses in there yet. They're vastly overachieving. So now talking about the Dodgers and the Padres, well, which team has shown over the last decade and a half that they are willing to spare no expense at the trade deadline to go out and get literally anything and everything that they want? Well, it's the Dodgers. Go back, the Max Scherzer thing is a perfect example. They'll go out and do anything and whatever they want to because they have a deep farm system, and they'll pay through the nose. Their luxury tax bill will be larger than most teams or 5 or 6 teams' entire salaries this year, and they don't care. So over 162 games, the Dodgers are the better team. The Dodgers will have the better record. It's going to be close, just like it was last year. In fact, it might even be closer this year than it was last year. So the Padres will be in that wild card hunt, and that's where you can get them. You're not going to get them in a 162-game season. You can get them in a 5 or 7 game series.
Good stuff, Tokes. You were on it today, man. What's your story on Jaws going to be about?
A couple things. One, it's 50th anniversary. By the way, for my money, it's the greatest movie ever made. It's borderline perfection. Steven Spielberg outdid himself, but it's the movie that launched.
I mean, it's good. It's really good.
It's amazing. It's a movie that launched the summer blockbuster. It was the first time people realized that movies can both be commercially and critically successful, and everyone's been chasing that ever since. But also more on that, I'm doing something on the way that movie changed shark conservation and shark science. Because right after that movie came out, sharks were vilified. Everyone thought they were these evil, man hunters who were out to get you. People were like scared to go in a swimming pool thinking your shark had worked his way in there just to get you. And there was a big hunting that went down, and a lot of shark species got on the borderline of extinction. But that also, the counteract of that was people started saving sharks. And we now know more about them than we ever have at any point in our history, and what they mean to the ecosystem and what they can mean for science and helping us as humans moving forward. So I'm working on kind of that aspect of it too, is how one movie where the mechanical shark didn't even work about 80% of the time literally changed the world as we know it.
And throughout your investigative journalism, you'll find that sharks also have really cool theme music that just follows them around the ocean everywhere they go.
Yeah, dude, that's why I don't get why people ever get bit by a shark. You can't just open your ears, you'll hear the music, right?
Thank you, Tokes.
See y'all.
All right, Derek Togerson, the best from NBC7. Keep an eye out for that Jaws story. All right, J-Riff has a lot of pressure on him because he's taking over long shots. Sammy has been making us some money. Can J-Riff do the same? Find out next. It's San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. San Diego Sports 760 and our iHeartRadio Music Festival is back. Live performances from Bryan Adams, Ed Sheeran, Mariah Carey, Maroon 5, many, many more. September 19th and 20th at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. 2 nights, 1 stage. The Capital One presale means card holders have access to tickets before the general public starting today. Also, the Capital One Access Pass and add-ons get you into an exclusive pre-concert cardholder event with a private performance from LL Cool J on Friday night or Jelly Roll on Saturday night. That's badass. Go to iHeartRadio.com/Capital One and get your tickets now before they're gone. General public on sale will begin this Friday at 11 a.m. Jonathan Rifkind is here for Sammy Long. Some of the comments coming in on YouTube have been hilarious. Jared, do you have those pulled up? I can't see that far away. Oh, you're.
I don't know which one was funny besides the Sammy tripped on an acorn.
That was the funniest one. Who said that?
That was Alexander Ronsis. I apologize if I butchered your last name.
Alexander's always here. What's going on, pal? Thank you for being here. Sammy did not slip on an acorn. He did tweak his ankle. He thinks it's a sprain, but he couldn't walk on it today. He hurt it playing in men's league basketball last night, which I think is the intramural equivalent for young 20s to mid 30s aged guys. Not something I'd be doing these days. But J-Riff is here, and at 12:45 every single day, Sammy usually delivers his long shots. Today, the duty has been drifted over to Jonathan Rifkind. So if you don't have the Prize Picks app, now would be the time to download it. Use promo code Fletch. Get the $50 bonus when you play your first $5 entry. This could be your first $5 entry. J-Riff, it's your time, pal. Do you feel confident?
Yeah, from broken ankles to breaking ankles on the hardwood.
Hey, what are we going?
Pascal Siakam, more than 19.5 points tonight in Game 3 of the NBA Finals. Indiana is back at home. Look, Game 1, that was incredibly, I mean, it could not have been bigger. The improbable comeback again, the Halliburton shot again, the unsung hero Aaron Nesmith again. But at the end of the day, Pascal Siakam, like Tyrese Halliburton turns into Russell Westbrook if Pascal Siakam doesn't play well, right? Like it's great to see Halliburton put up numbers, but they're not going to win games if he doesn't have the next important piece producing around him, and that is Pascal Siakam. Indiana's back at home. I don't expect them to win, but I think Siakam's certainly going to get more than 19.5. So I have more on Mr. Siakam with the 19.5 points.
I like it a lot.
Move on to the WNBA. The Dallas Wings are 1-9 this season. They are at the bottom of the WNBA table. They have a player by the name of Paige Beckers. I assume you're familiar with her, Fletch.
I sure am.
Top pick in
Paige.
This previous WNBA draft out of Connecticut. She is a star. They are struggling right now to figure it all out. They're playing a 6-4 Phoenix Mercury. But Paige, she's been doing pretty well, and she's getting a favorable 10.5 on the points, and I'm going more the 10.5. She has scored in double digits in 4 of her last 6 games. The final of our picks here is, this is sorry, Padre fans. Robbie Ray, the pitcher for the San Francisco Giants. He's been on a tear. You might remember he struck out 9 Padres in the win that San Francisco had a couple of games ago. Robbie Ray's at Colorado at 5:40 this afternoon. We all know what Colorado is. They are a team that the Padres put 22 runs on and then lost the next game. And that was Buddy Black's last game. Robbie Ray is going to have more than 7 strikeouts tonight against the Rockies. Paige Beckers.
Hang on. Let's talk about Robbie Ray for a second, because it is in Colorado.
So
pitchers have a habit of getting out of games early in Colorado.
Go look at the inability, the inebriation of runs that the Rockies can't score runs.
They are terrible, but this number should be higher. If Prize Picks has been paying attention to what Robbie Ray's been doing, he's striking out everybody. I think he had 9 against San Diego.
Mm-hmm.
He's up in double digits at a couple points this year. 7 doesn't feel like enough for Robbie Ray. So what do they know? That's when I get skeptical.
Oh, see, I think that it's just like maybe the intern putting in the odds missed something.
There's no such thing as interns over at Prize Picks. They have the most cracked staff of people in the world.
Maybe the AI intern that integrates all of the odds was just feeling favorable.
I mean, I like it. I'll trust it. I'll go #faith in J-Riff.
Yeah, so we're going 3 more. Pascal Siakam over 19 or more to the 19.5. Paige Beckers more than 10.5, and Rob Uray more than 7 strikeouts.
Good enough for me. Submitted. Well done, J-Riff. Have you been watching a lot of WNBA?
I have been. I am fully. I've been in and out the last couple of years. But yeah, I'm really in it this year, and I am full New York Liberty fan, and because Sabrina Ionescu, and so I'm on it. Yeah.
It is like skyrocketing in popularity, which is cool. I think it's a good thing.
They're fun. You know what? You know what's the truth about, like it's a more like the way you like college basketball, right? Like, oh, there's real defense and there's real plays, and that's WNBA is like that too. It's very cerebral and fundamental, and it's a lot of fun to watch.
Now, there is news about college basketball as of today that we will get into a little bit in hour 2, but I do want to take like a minute or two here and talk about it. College basketball, apparently, there is momentum to changing the format of the college basketball game from what it's always been at 2 halves, 2 20-minute halves, down to 4 quarters. I kind of hate it. Like, I actually really hate it. Look, college sports in general are moving away from what college sports are, and college football is becoming more like the NFL. We don't need college basketball to become more like the NBA. It is already a superior product, in my opinion, and I know that opinion doesn't play out by all the numbers, but college basketball is pretty perfect, if you ask me. Let's not F with it too much, because every conference from the Mountain West to the SEC or the ACC is a whole hell of a lot of fun in college basketball right now. I don't think we need to be doing the 4 quarters thing. Jared, if you have any thoughts on this?
Not
as
that
someone
I can share
who
within a minute.
You call college basketball games on a regular basis.
I prefer 4 quarters because I want an extra break in between. I can
pee
go
faster, dude. Who cares?
Yeah, exactly. Get my Celsius in. But
you actually would want 4 quarters?
Yeah, I think I like look, women's basketball in college has 4 quarters. The men's basketball on the college side is the only version of the sport that doesn't play 4 quarters. Why not just unify it all? They're not going to change the other versions of the sport to 20 minutes to have, but I do think there needs to be some unity. And it's always been weird to me that like some of these guys go into the NBA and then all of a sudden you're playing 4 quarters instead of 2 halves. So I think it just makes sense to fit into the rest of the basketball world. In terms of how it affects the style of play, I don't know. I like the idea of 8-minute quarters. Things are probably going to be a little bit faster.
70470, start your message with team. Do you hate the fact that college basketball is looking to go away from the 20?
You're just a hater. You just hate because you hate the NBA. It's matriculating into the decision making of college basketball.
I have not hated this NBA postseason.
It's been good.
I've been a fan. I really like the Houston Rockets. I thought that they play fun basketball, man, and they play hard. I've been a huge fan of the Pacers and Tyrese Halliburton.
The Knicks were fun.
The T-Wolves were a lot of fun. I love that the Lakers got embarrassed. Like, there were a lot of parts of this NBA postseason that I found very, very fun. But the NBA regular season is the worst thing in the world. So can we not worry about fixing college basketball, which isn't broken, and start worried about fixing the NBA? All right, coming up in hour number 2, Rich Ohrnberger is going to be stopping by for a little NFL segment. We will keep you updated on the Padres score. They get going at 110, and we'll give you a little preview of the game coming up next. It's San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.
This update is presented by Pella Window and Doors. The Padres pounded the Dodgers 11-1 last night. The win was marred by the Dodgers quite visibly utilizing a bullpen game and throwing the white flag pretty early, but that does not diminish the stellar 11 strikeouts that Dylan Cease had on the mound in 7 innings of work. A win tonight would put the Padres tied at the top of the West with the Dodgers. Game 3 of the series gets going in about 10 minutes. NBA Finals Game 3 is tonight at 5:30. OKC looks to take a 2-1 lead in Indiana, and the U.S. men's national team had a Gold Cup tune-up last night. They played a friendly against Switzerland and got absolutely smoked 4-0. Questions are now surrounding if the makeup of the team and the style of the team's play could coexist. Pella Windows and Doors is offering 25% off to celebrate 100 years in business as the leader in window innovation. Pella is rated #1 by Consumer Reports. Don't wait. Visit Pella.com to schedule your free consultation today. That's Pella, Pella.com.
It's San Diego Sports 760. It's hour number 2 here on the Fletch Zone. Ben Fletcher, usually Sammy Long. Today, Jonathan Rifkin. Sammy Long dealing with a little ankle boo-boo that he received in a men's game last night. So I don't know what this week looks like the rest of the way because Sammy, his birthday is coming up on Friday. He's making a huge deal about it, and he's going to Vegas with all his friends. We'll see what the ankle does to all those plans, but we will have a big 3 of hour number 2 coming up in a couple minutes. But let's stop off for a second here, J-Riff, and preview game 3. I'd call it game 1.5, 2.5 with the Padres and the Dodgers. That's going to get going here in about 10 minutes. Randy Vasquez on the mound for the Padres. Doesn't have a great record this year, but I think has overperformed what his expectations were heading into the year. He's 3-4, 3.69 ERA. He's thrown in 63 1/3 innings so far with 37 strikeouts, 34 walks. Randy Vasquez has been a little bit of a surprise for the Padres that they got out of necessity because Yu Darvish did not start the season with the team and Michael King has gone down. Randy Vasquez has been a pretty invaluable piece to this team. Does he has what it takes to get over the Dodgers? That's a whole nother question because today should be a full lineup for the Dodgers, not whatever last night's NBA load management game was for the boys up in LA.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? Like it is, can Randy Vasquez, like you said, I guess, overcome the Dodgers, but that's only a small part of the conversation because he could hold the Dodgers to 3 runs and that's a pretty successful start. And they could lose 3-2 in the game, or they could lose 5-3 or 5-4, depending on the bullpen situation, right? Like he could still have a great performance or overperform to his standard, and they, in all likelihood, could very easily lose to the Dodgers. I think the Dodgers offense is going to come up a little bit more pissed off because even though they knew that they were probably going to lose yesterday's game, the fact that they only put up 1 run wasn't great. And they're putting up Ben Conspirius, who's been really good. Conspirius is Connecticut native. He has a sub-3 ERA. He was actually a closer for a while, and then he ended up getting converted into a starting pitcher. And he's somebody who has been really good in every facet of the bullpen, whether he's been coming in as a starting pitcher, reliever, or as a setup guy or closer. So he is 4-1. I think that if the Padres can hit him early and get on the board early and give Vasquez some confidence as the game moves on in the middle innings, I think that will bode well for them. But if the offense has a slow start in this game this afternoon, I think it's gonna be tough to get over that hump.
So game 1 of this series, and I'm glad you bring that up, J-Riff, because game 1 in this series was the first time that Tatis, Arise, and Machado all reached base in the first inning since all the way back when the Padres played against the Rockies and scored 21 runs in a game. That top 3 of yours is one of the more scary top 3 in all of baseball when it comes to, you have 2 power hitters in Fernando Tatis Jr. and Manny Machado, and you got the best contact hitter in all of baseball, or at least who has been the best contact hitter in baseball in Luis Arraez. Those 3 guys need to take advantage of the opportunity. We talked to Derek Togerson about an hour ago now, and we were talking about Fernando Tatis Jr. and how he needs to work this way out of the slump. I think we're starting to see signs, which is good. Even though he had a premature bat flip a couple nights ago that ended up just being a really long fly out, Fernando Tatis Jr. is starting to put a little bit of a charge into the baseball. Today might be that day where he breaks out and goes nuclear, hits a couple of bombs, or hits damn near a cycle. He's capable of doing anything. My only hope for today, outside of a Padres win, is you start to see Fernando to continue to take the steps to becoming back to who he was when we were talking about him a month and a half into the season, which was an NL MVP frontrunner. He has fallen far, far from that since then.
I have a question, a controversial question, going back to Luis Arraez. I know, I think that it is still reputable currently to call him the best, if not the best, one of the best hitters in baseball.
Contact hitters, very different from best hitters.
Sorry, correct. The distinction needs to be made. Contact hitters. At what point? Because look, yes, he went 3 for 5 yesterday, and that's fantastic. Before that, he only had 3 hits in the last 4 games, and that's in almost 24, 23 at bats. Like he's gone through his ebbs and flows. He's still batting 287, but like I would not say that during the stretch in the last maybe month and a half, he is in the upper echelon of contact hitters in Major League Baseball. Like at what point does it become maybe like living in the past to say, oh, he's like, what does he need to do to lose that title, I guess?
You're absolutely right, J-Riff. He has not been that guy over this season specifically. Like he started off ice cold, if you remember, and then he kind of worked his way back up and he started becoming Luis Arraez again. And then over the last month and a half, he's just been kind of average. Luis Arraez has never been a power guy. He never will be a power guy. What you would pay someone like Luis Arraez for is if he's hitting 325. And when he's not hitting 325, you start to kind of scratch your head a little bit.
And that's what I'm looking at. I see, hitting 287 is great, but you got,
look, if Gavin Sheets was hitting 287 on a year, you're paying Gavin Sheets 25 million plus.
Right. But it's also different. If your OPS is up near 1 and you're slugging, but you're batting 281 with 25 RBI and 3 homers, like you're only contributing but it's a minimal gain based on what the team needs from that spot. And right now it's great that he can get on base, but that's all he's doing. And if the bottom of the order isn't producing, then yes, he is there to set up the next couple of guys. Cause like you said, like their top 3 is disgusting. And when the rest of the order's hitting, it's great. But like, if the bottom of the order isn't hitting, like his effectiveness is almost neutralized.
I have always been a big proponent of having Fernando Tatis Jr. hit leadoff in every game he's a part of. I still think that way. I do. But I do think that there's something going negative with the Padres lineup because Fernando Tatis Jr. is leadoff and Luis Arraez is second. The majority of Arraez's career has been in that leadoff position, and he's really damn good at it. And the majority of his career, he's a 300-plus hitter. With him falling down even just one spot in the lineup, that changes things. So maybe it's an uncomfortable position for him to be in. I mean, tough. Like, figure it out. Get back to getting what you're paid to do. But I do think that has had a little bit of an effect. Padres, Dodgers, they'll get going at 1:10 today. We'll keep you updated on the score. That's about it. Rich Ohrnberger is going to be joining the show coming up at 1:30. We'll do a little NFL chat with Rich. We also have a 4-pack of tickets for you to go see Dierks Bentley coming up in this hour, so don't go anywhere. That's a June 19th show out at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater. But right now, it is time for hour number 2's edition of the Big Three. All right, we kind of left off last hour with this, but let's get back to it. According to Legion Hoops, which is a X account that follows college basketball very, very closely, there's real momentum for changing the format of college basketball from a 2 halves game where it's a 20-minute half on either side to a 4-quarter game. I kind of hate this. I think it's the opposite of what I love about college basketball. I don't have any firm reasoning about why it will impact the game. But I think that college basketball, what's so important about it and what the NBA misses out on is the first 5 minutes of the second half in college basketball generally dictate what happens in the game. And I wonder if that goes away. If you're changing it from a quarter system to a half system, the momentum of the game gets thrown off a little bit. But J-Riff, you seem to be into this idea, so you could have an extra potty break or 2 every single game.
Yeah, I'm biased because I call these games, and it'd be nice to have, it's long. I'm drinking. I got to keep the vocal cords loose and moisturized.
Sure.
I'm drinking a lot of different fluids. And, once I started college, my bladder, it changed drastically, and you can guess why. But yeah, I mean, look, I see both sides.
I don't think I can guess why. Why?
Alcohol.
Oh.
Now listen, I understand that we want to, promote the sanctity of college basketball, and we don't like change. And there's already all of this change happening with, now with the House ruling that players can get paid by the universities and realize it's a mess out there. I get it. We're reluctant. Fletch hates the NBA. All of those things are true and valid. However, I think it is good for the game. I think it'll speed it up a little bit because now you have 8 minutes on the clock instead of 20 minutes. And psychologically, teams are going to change the flow of the game. And you like fast-paced basketball. And if you couple fast-paced basketball with the fundamental style of college basketball, that's really fun.
Yeah, there's nothing like fast-paced basketball to throw an e-break in the middle of the second half.
I think it could be beneficial.
God, makes sense one time. All right, moving over to the NFL, big story number 2. Saquon Barkley has now hurdled over, see what I did there? Patrick Mahomes in terms of jersey sales heading into this season. Saquon Barkley becoming the most popular jersey to buy. Saquon Barkley has the double curse hitting him this year. Offensive Player of the Year a year ago, and the cover of Madden this year. How many games does Saquon Barkley actually play in this season, J-Riff, before his ACL goes bye-bye?
Oh, why do you got to put me in that position? I never want to assume injury upon anybody.
Especially Saquon Barkley.
So why can't you be like, oh, is he really going to be Offensive Player of the Year again? Why are we assuming that he's going to tear his Achilles?
Because he's being cursed in multiple ways heading into this season. And I'm a big believer in curses.
All right, so you're superstitious. You believe in the Madden curse.
I'm definitely a little stitious. I watched Christian McCaffrey just get obliterated last year after being on the cover of Madden after one of his most productive seasons.
Yeah, and I just saw Jason Tatum rip his Achilles. You and I both have PTSD from players that we love getting injured drastically. However, I think that Saquon is going to break it. That's my take. I think Saquon he leads all running backs again in yards per game and total yardage and in touchdowns.
Janty, bro.
Okay. A couple of years, maybe. Not year one.
No, I think year
maybe
one.
He's the second. Maybe he's the second best.
Pete Carroll as a head coach,
dude. Not with Bijan.
Pete Carroll as a head coach is going to Marshawn Lynch, Ashton Janty into the ground this year. I promise you.
Dude, if Pete Carroll tries to run Ashton Janty the way he ran Marshawn Lynch, Ashton Janty might get injured before the season ends.
I'm telling you, it's going to happen this year.
If we want to talk about predicting injuries, that's the conversation.
I got Sammy and I are talking about doing a little trip out to Vegas before the NFL season begins. Am I invited? Sure, you're more than welcome to come.
Can't wait. Let's go.
One of the bets I will be putting down is Ashton Janty to lead the NFL in rushing this year.
Okay, what are the odds?
I don't know. Probably pretty good. We haven't seen a rookie do it since Kareem Hunt did it with the Kansas City Chiefs in his rookie season.
Definitely somebody who we want to follow the example of.
Okay, well, not off the field, J-Riff. Come on. Also in the NFL, Cooper Kupp is a Seattle Seahawk now, which that's weird as hell. Have you seen the pictures of Aaron Rodgers and Cooper Kupp in their new uniforms? Because every year we see guys move to new uniforms, but for some reason, these two stick out like a sore thumb. They really do. That's the story.
I did not see the Seahawk. Well, I saw the Rodgers Pittsburgh one. I did not see the Cup Seahawks.
It's bizarre. He's got a real J-Riff hair from 5 years ago thing going on.
Were they? Thanks. Were they? I can't believe. Wow. That threw me off my game a little. Was he in the lime green Seahawk? What jersey?
No, it was their. I guess it'd be their road jersey, right? In the NFL, the light color is the road team. I think that's right.
Okay. It probably looks a little weird.
It just looks bizarre. It looks so different. And you see every once in a while the picture of like Jerry Rice in a Raiders uniform pop up and be like, this doesn't belong there. Cooper Kupp, I got the same feeling from yesterday. But new guys with new teams should be a fun year. We are 84 days away from kickoff of the 2025-26 NFL season. All right, quick break here. On the other side, J-Riff is going to get to talk some soccer. He's very excited about that. SDFC players playing on the national team. How did they fare over the last couple of days? We'll talk about it coming up next at San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. Tonight at 6 o'clock right here on San Diego Sports 760, it is SDFC Midweek Live. Hear from the head coach, Mikey Vadas, as well as interviews with players and coaches. Find out the latest club and MLS information, SDFC Midweek Live, every Wednesday night at 6 o'clock right here on your home for SDFC, San Diego Sports 760. Good thing I got Jonathan Rifkin here today, Jay Riff, because SDFC with a nice little win over Club America over the weekend at Snapdragon Stadium. Which is the biggest team down in Mexico. They come up, and it was kind of their B squad. They're like 23 and under team, I think. But SDFC beats them 3-0. It was a good win for the boys. But some of SDFC players are missing as well because they are with the national team. Do I have that correct?
There are. So we have 2 SDFC players being represented on the senior national team, on the U20 national team. Luca Bombino's on the U.S. U20 team, and then that's the prerequisite for the national team where Luca Della Torre, who is a San Diego native, is. And then they have a bunch of players on different national teams, like on Anders Dryers with Denmark and Paddy McNair's with Northern Ireland, and Annabelle Godoy is with Panama, and Ani Valakari with Finland. So it is really cool to have and also Duran Free, I should mention. He's with the U19 U.S. team. So there are 3 players representing the U.S. at different levels.
So SDFC has been incredible this year. I've been to a couple matches now. It is a ton of fun. It is as advertised. That place is packed every single week when there's a game there for SDFC. But the U.S. men's national team is the drama of the day because they lose to Switzerland. Do I have that right?
You have that right, Fletch.
And explain the fallout of this, because U.S. men's national team is now with a new head coach or new manager, and things aren't going well right off the jump.
Yeah, so if you missed it in hour 1, so I sort of preambled. So I had this quick rant that I wrote out, and I did it in what I call Adam Rank style. As you know, Adam Rank, our friend of the show. He's a fantasy football expert on the NFL Network and does a bunch of other stuff. And we're big fans of him. But I've been hanging out with I've been hanging out a lot with him, and I've sort of enveloped some of his crazy hyper take energy. So I'm going to let you know how distraught we are about the U.S. men's national team loss last night, even though it was a friendly. And we're going to do it in Adam Rank style. Ready?
All right. Yeah, let it rip.
Let's call it for what it is. The U.S. men's national team is in bad shape. That wasn't just a 4-0 loss to Switzerland. It was a live demonstration of what happens when you throw kids into international waters with no lifeboat. Mauricio Pochettino says the blame's on him, and it is. You don't make 9 changes and toss in 5 guys with fewer than 5 caps unless you're experimenting. And this ain't science class, son. The Gold Cup's around the corner, and right now the U.S. doesn't look anywhere ready to compete, let alone contend. Not only that, the biggest single sport event in the world is coming to the United States of America next year. We are 1 year away, Ben Fletcher, from the World Cup coming to the United States. And we have a team that is not ready for its own continental cup, much less to compete against some of the best clubs in the world or countries in the world on our own home turf. We should be worried, and changes have to be made right now.
I like it. You feel good about that one?
Woo! Heart's racing.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Again, not the soccer expert here, but if Team USA is in the World Cup no matter what, because we're hosting it.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. Would there be danger of them missing out on the World Cup entirely if they weren't the host country?
Absolutely. We are. That's the threat, right? Is like, you want to get hot at the right time. We're a year away. Like 2026 is next year. People don't realize that. It feels like we just had this last World Cup because it took place, 2.5 years ago in December rather than in summer because Qatar is super hot and all that stuff. Like we're coming up on it. Like we are in the witching hour. And right now you have to know your team's identity. You have to know the depth chart. You have to be ready because things get real fast. And this team could lose the Gold Cup, and in any other situation, they would not be qualified for the World Cup. But in this situation, at least they have the benefit of being a host country.
Yeah, all right, gotcha. So SDFC, though, so far this year, they've been a shock, or was this what you expected when you saw the roster?
It's so interesting. I think
because they're phenomenal.
They're phenomenal. It's a combination of a couple of things. You have veteranship. with some, the Chucky Lozanos of the world and the Patty McNair, who really seems like somebody that elevates every single player around him when he's on the pitch. And then you have youth and you have local products, right? Like Luca Della Torre, and you got a coach who I really think understands the dynamic of the MLS. If they were playing this style in a different country, in a different league, I don't know if you'd find success regardless of the talent on the field. But in the MLS, there's a certain style that works. And I think that they have the formula. 9-5-1 is fantastic. This is a really good start. I don't know if I would have anticipated it. Wouldn't have anticipated the LA Galaxy going nearly 3 months before picking up their first win. And those are the defending champs, right? Like, this has been a really wacky. Vancouver, the Whitecaps, that's the team to beat right now. What are we doing here? So I'm surprised. I'm elated. But I also think that it makes a lot of sense that this team is playing as well as they've been playing.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Mikey Varas. We had him on right before the season began, and I thought he had the right stuff to be the coach. And then what's impressed me the most is you have guys like Anders Dreyer, who I'm not sure where he came from, but I know he's getting on his soccer career, and Chucky Lozano, who you mentioned both those names. They're both veteran presences, and neither of them came over and just took the MLS money and sort of retired in the MLS. Both of them came over, and if they didn't elevate their game, they've at least kept the same tenacity, and they've both been playing awesome for SDFC. All right, before we take a quick break and get to Rich Ohrnberger, the text line has been popping off all show long. We sure do appreciate it. 70470, start your message with team. Let's rip through some of them here. 949 says, Sammy tripped on an acorn. Yeah, I don't know who put acorns on the basketball court, but Sammy did rip up his ankle. That's why J-Riff is here today. 858, as a Spurs fan, I'd love to see KD or Giannis come to the Spurs, but at the right price, because Wemby, Castle, Fox are the future, no matter what veteran they bring in. I'm telling you, the Spurs are in a position where they could potentially win an NBA Finals championship next year if they add either Giannis or KD. Giannis would have to be a long-term deal, though. KD would be a one-year mercenary. 858 called it John Shots. Nicely done. We'll reset long shots at the end of the show today. If you missed it, 858, sorry. No, we did not use the 0.5 points on Jalen Williams because you used a different discount. You used the Paige Buckner's discount.
Paige Becker's discount.
Becker's. 619, Sammy Wankles long. Wankles equals weak ankles. Very good. 619, I watched all of Arise's ABs. This man is the Latin Tony Gwynn. He never strikes out. He's the champion for a reason. He sees every pitch. That is true of him prior to maybe
Tony Gwynn was driving it. Maybe in contact, but Tony Gwynn was doing things around just making contact with the ball that were winning the Padres games.
619, Arise is there to bring Tatis home, and Tatis hasn't been getting on base. That makes a lot of sense, actually, for maybe a dip in Arise's numbers. 858, 4 quarters is dumb for college basketball. After a quarter, there's only a commercial break, not a 10 to 15-minute break. If you want, just take a timeout after 10 minutes. That's where I'm at. J-Riff just wants 4 quarters.
No, remember, they're playing. Oh, actually, it would be 10 minutes.
It would be 10.
Yeah.
J-Riff just wants an extra break so he can go pee.
Yeah, remember, I'm seeing this from a different perspective.
858, I don't think you could give up on Arise after 2 months. Let's be real about this. Should we release Tatis too and just buy out his contract? Maybe let the Dodgers just have him. He's also having his worst year.
Okay, hold on. We were not giving up on Luis Arise.
I like Luis Arise.
We were asking a very pragmatic question, right?
You were asking a very pragmatic question.
Okay, we were, but we had a conversation about that.
Jonathan Rifkind was asking a very pragmatic question.
I like how you're trying to put this on me like I'm to blame, but really it sounds like I'm the smart one in this conversation. So I appreciate it.
No, I did say Luis Arise has the moniker of being the best contact hitter in baseball.
And as he should, and it's deserved, and I don't want to diminish that. The question that I asked 858 number was, at what point does it become a little facetious to continue using that moniker, because he hasn't performed? You're right. For these 2 months, he's allowed to have his slumps. He's allowed to have multiple months of slumps because he has proven time and time again that he is in the upper echelon of contact hitters in baseball. It does not matter. He has enough credibility to go through these slumps and for us to still feel that, believe it, and say it. But at what point do we just stop saying that he's the best contact hitter in baseball? That's all I'm asking. He's not playing like the best contact hitter in baseball. 2 more months, 3 more months next year? I don't know. I'm just asking. We are not saying to release him.
To J. Riff's point, Jackson Merrill has a better average than him right now. Manny Machado has a better average than him right now. If you're Luis Arise, you make your money based on being the best average hitter on your team, and not average in terms of like a C student, average in terms of batting average. He's a career 300 plus guy this year. What'd you say he was at? Like 280?
281.
281. That's just not what Luis Arraez is good for. Luis Arraez is good for being on base or getting hits 3 out of every 10 times he has an official at bat. All right, Rich Ohrnberger is going to be coming up next. Before we get to Big Rich, we're going to talk a little Prize Picks. All right, it's time for you to download the app. Use promo code Fletch when you do, FLETCH. You're going to get a $50 bonus when you play your first $5 entry. But Fletch, what should I do for my first $5 entry?
What should I do for my first $5 entry?
Exactly right. Well, here you go. Pascal Siakam, more than 19.5 points. Paige Beckers, more than 10.5 points. And Robbie Ray, more than 7 strikeouts for his game against Colorado today. That was John shots for today, which was Jonathan Rifkin filling in for Sammy Long. And I like that lineup a lot. So what I do is I go more than or less than on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 2,000 times my cash. Prize Picks is my sports companion. Let it be yours too. Whether you're watching baseball every day here in San Diego, hey, good news. Prize Picks, the official daily fantasy sports platform of the San Diego Padres. You can download the Prize Picks app today, and while you're watching whatever game you're into, baseball, basketball, hockey, soccer, does not matter, Prize Picks has lineups ready for you to put in. Ask their tens of millions of active members, the billions of dollars that have been awarded in winning so far. Prize Picks is the best, the most user-friendly daily fantasy sports platform on the planet. Big Rich is coming up next. Use promo code Fletch and keep on listening to San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.
This update is presented by Pella Windows and Doors. The Padres pounded the Dodgers 11-1 at Petco Park last night. It was dubbed a bullpen game for the Dodgers. 11 strikeouts for Dylan Cease. Game 3 in action at Petco Park. No score, second inning in that one. NBA Finals Game 3 tonight, 5:30. OKC looking to take a 2-1 lead in Indiana. And the U.S. men's national team had a Gold Cup tune-up last night. They played a friendly against Switzerland out in Nashville and got absolutely smoked 4-0. Questions are now surrounding the team if the makeup of the team and the style of play can coexist. Pella Windows and Doors is offering 25% off to celebrate 100 years in business. As the leaders in window and innovation, Pella is rated #1 by Consumer Reports. Don't wait. Visit Pella.com to schedule your free consultation today. That's Pella, Pella.com.
San Diego Sports 760 for a final time today. Ben Fletcher, Jonathan Rifkin taking you up to John and Jim. And AM radio keeps vital voices accessible. Congress can secure its future, but we need your help. Text AM to 52886 right now to support keeping AM radio in cars. Tell your member of Congress to pass legislation now and keep AM radio in cars. Standard message and data rates do apply. All right, a lot has happened over the last 5 minutes since we last chatted with you. Padres did take a 1-0 lead. How they did it was a little bit funny. So Gavin Sheets hit a single, Bogarts hit a single, Cronenworth hit a single, and then Gavin Sheets got thrown out at home trying to score. And then Martin Maldonado walked with the bases loaded, allowing Bogarts to score. And then with the bases loaded and 2 outs, Fernando Tatis Jr. popped out to right field. So what could have been a huge number for the Padres ends up only being 1 run scored, but they do have a 1-0 lead over the Dodgers in the top of the third. Shohei Ohtani just flying out to deep left field. Padres got the early lead. Vasquez looks like he's doing all right. Jared, if you got the game up wherever you are, I don't know if you do.
I don't. I'm sitting in my kitchen / coffee area, so the TV's behind me, so I don't. But I have the ESPN live tracker going on my iPad, so we're following it. We're following it.
All right. Well, we'll keep you updated if anything happens here over the next 7 or 8 minutes while we are getting ready to get out of here. But we do appreciate Jonathan Rifkin, taking time out of his schedule to jump in last second with Sammy Long on the IL for today. We'll see what happens tomorrow. Might be Jay Riff back, even if he says he doesn't want to.
I don't want to, but I do it. Do you think that it's believable if I told you that I actually am the one who set Sammy up to break his ankle so you and I can have some time together?
Do you have a Blades of Glory moment, like when Amy Poehler breaks her pearl necklace so that Will Ferrell would skate over the pearl necklace and snap his ankle?
That was me. I was wearing the pearl necklace during that men's basketball game.
You know what?
Sammy was playing.
That makes a lot of sense, actually. Mm-hmm. You and a pearl necklace with that mustache, you would be straight out of an 80s home video. You know what I'm talking about. All right.
No, I actually don't. Can you elaborate, please?
Pornography, J-Riff. All right. The U.S. Open begins tomorrow out at Oakmont. Oakmont has been an absolute disaster in terms of good quality rounds of golf over the years, especially when U.S. Opens are held there. So I actually have the numbers going all the way back to 1927. But why don't we start a little more in the modern era? In 1953, when Ben Hogan won the U.S. Open at a score of 5 under par, believe it or not, since 1953, nobody has won the U.S. Open at Oakmont with a better score than 5 under par. Ben Hogan set the standard. In 62, Jack Nicklaus won it at 1 under. In 83, Larry Nelson won it at 4 under. Ernie Els matched Ben Hogan in 1994 at 5 under par. Angel Cabrera in 2007 at +5. And Dustin Johnson won it most recently at Oakmont in 2016 with a score of 4 under par. There's been a lot of conversation in the golf world, which I like to think that I'm a part of on social media, and people trying to predict what the final score of the winner will be this week at Oakmont. And the numbers have gone as high as +3 or 4. The numbers have gone as low as about even par. Nobody is forecasting a winner of this tournament to be under par after 4 rounds of golf at Oakmont. Can you even wrap your head around that, J-Riff?
I'm trying to. It's funny. It makes me go back when we were talking about on the Big Three? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm still learning the show that I'm currently on. I'm thinking back to when we were talking about Scotty Scheffler being the +225, right? And how we both took it. Now I'm thinking about Bryson. I'm like, look, Bryson thrives in chaos. He's won the U.S. Open twice. He's the runner-up in odds. I know he's been struggling with the iron. That's been his big thing recently, but he thrives in chaos. So I'm wondering, do you fade the favorite and go with Bryson for this?
There's a shot, man. I don't know how comfortable I am with just taking Scotty over the field. I love the +225 number for him. I can't believe he's at plus money right now with the run of dominance that he's been on. Here's what I'll say about Oakmont. There's video out right now where the fairway is actually rolling at a 12 on the stimp meter, which is the little device they use on golf courses, and the greens are rolling at a 16. 12 is really, really fast for a green. Torrey Pines during the U.S. Open, I believe, was at a 13 or a 14. So 12 is insanely fast. 16 is otherworldly. You are literally putting on a ping pong table right now at Oakmont, and they've overgrown the rough so much to where they have 90 volunteers who their only job throughout the course of this week is to be finding balls in the rough when people hit them off the tee. That means there's like 5 people per hole who that is their job. Their job is to locate lost golf balls throughout this week. It's going to be chaos on the course. I can't wait for it. Oakmont is this historic venue that the U.S. Open, they love to do these. That's why they picked or used to pick Torrey Pines, because Torrey Pines could overgrow the rough, lengthen out the course, and make it to where you see Phil Mickelson's of the world going plus 10 in a single round. That's what the USGA and the U.S. Open want to happen every time this tournament takes place. And I think that's exactly what we're going to get this year. But there's a real question to be asked. And Jared, I'll ask you, is it more fun for you to see the best golfers in the world struggle with a golf course, or is it more fun for you to see them dominate a golf course? Because I kind of fall somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, I mean, you want continuity. It's not like every golf course is like this. Like this exists for a reason. Everybody knows, like the haymakers, not the haymakers, everybody, the people who create the infrastructure for this understand that this is an incredibly challenging course. It is done deliberately. It's supposed to be a test. Not every course is a test. So I actually really, I know Tiger Woods came out and gave like, a forewarning about this whole thing, but I like it. I think it fits in well. I like that it's open. Obviously, it's an open. It's not a PGA event, so you get everybody. I think that the best players in the world are differentiated when they go through adversity. Every single one of them is facing the same odds now with this golf course. It is incredibly difficult. This is where the separating factor truly lies. So yeah, I'm cool with it. I love it. Give me all the chaos in the world. And you know what? If +3 is what you need to win, I'm for it.
That might end up being what it is. All right. Recap of long shots from earlier in the show today was John Shots. Pascal Siakam, more than 19.5 points. Paige Beckers at a discount, more than 10.5 points. And Robbie Ray, who dominated the Padres about a week ago, more than 7 pitcher strikeouts for his game against the Rockies coming up tonight. Also going on tonight, NBA Finals, game number 3, back in Indiana. Jay Riff, I don't know how closely you've been following the NBA Finals, but do Tyrese Halliburton, Pascal Siakam, and the crew up there in Indiana have anything for this OKC team, which seems to be the deepest team in the entire NBA?
They have something, but it's not going to be enough. OKC is going to win this. I think OKC probably wins in 5, to be completely honest with you.
Indiana doesn't take 1 at home?
No, think about the game that they won.
They don't get 1 magical 15-point comeback in the final 8 minutes. They've already done it 4 times this postseason.
It's not happening. It's not against us. You mentioned it. They're deep, and Chet Holmgren finally played well in game 2. If they can get consistency out of him, and then everybody else does what they do, they're going to win the rest of the series. They just are. Like, sorry, Indiana. Unless Aaron Nesmith turns into Superman, and Mathurin can shoot, 40% from 3 off the bench, you're not winning the series.
I like Benedict Mathurin because it seems like his name should be announced at the a High Court of England or something.
Yeah, he was at the Constitution signing.
Benedict Mathurin, may you please sign next to John Hancock. I do love that name. All right, so we'll see how that game goes today. Padres-Dodgers playing right now. Padres kind of squandering an opportunity in the bottom of the second inning with the bases loaded and Fernando Tatis up to bat, but he popped out to right field. Vasquez holding his own so far through this one. John and Jim will keep you updated on that throughout the day. Jair, if you got any fun plans coming up, it's good to see you, pal.
It's good to see you, too. This was really enjoyable. I'm grateful for the opportunity. You know what, Sammy? Take the rest of the week off. I'm here. I got you. We can get John's picks tomorrow. I'm just kidding. I hope you're okay, and I hope you're back. Fun plans. It's nice outside. I think I'm going to hit the pool.
That sounds nice to me. All right, yeah. John and Jim are coming up next. Thank you for listening today at San Diego Sports 760. I'll be back with you at noon tomorrow, maybe with Sammy, maybe with Jay Riff. But John and Jim are taking you the rest of the way today, and then SDFC Midweek Live coming up at 6 o'clock tonight. Stay tuned at San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.